we actually, I think it was good for us to meet like that and, you know, be able to discuss everything. I mean, last week got out of hand, you know, so just excited to be here. We got a great Scott's Ford Fusion, and we've had a lot of fun with Scott's this week, and I'm hoping we can put on a good show for them. But yeah, everything's good. We're water under the bridge. We're going forward. We're racing, and that's the coolest thing, to be able to shake hands and move on.
All right, thanks, Carl. Yeah, this is definitely the track to check your emotions at the door. And Chris, I like that purple in your tie, by the way.
For your Northern Iowa team, right, that had the great upset. I know Daryl's rooting for Kentucky.
Eat your heart out. Eat your heart out.
But rivalries, you're going to take a closer look. But where is that line? Is it the same for all drivers, that aggressive driving line that we're talking about?
If you hold the drivers too tight, if NASCAR holds them too tight, it breaks their spirit. You got to let them fly, but they got to know what the parameters are too. You can't just say carte blanche, have at it. There's got to be some lines in the sand somewhere.
You got to understand something. When it comes to drivers, and I say this from crew chief's perspective, they put that helmet on, everything else goes out the window. All they can think about is it like a bunch of bulls charging.
Like a bunch of racehorses, really.
Well, whatever, trying to run over each other.
By the way, Carl was under
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox, presented by GoDaddy.com, is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. We're live in Bristol, and Jeff Gordon has won here 5 times. His daughter and his wife, they have announced that they know a son is on the way in July, so they'll have a boy and a girl represented in the family. Doesn't look like he's thinking about Bristol and getting angry. But throughout American history, there have been legendary feuds. Alexander Hamilton, Aaron Burr, Donald Trump, Rosie O'Donnell, Seinfeld, and Newman. Darryl, you know all about the NASCAR feuds. You've been in a few of those.
Oh, listen, they can get rather nasty, just to tell you the truth. But most of the time it's on the racetrack. You don't want to take it off the racetrack. But a lot of these guys, well, they just want to prolong it as long as they can, seems like. Hey folks, DW here. This is Fox Sports Racing Central, where we see all and tell all. And what we saw in Atlanta, well, everybody was talking and ranting and raving, and they were going nuts. I can't tell you that I didn't see this one coming, because when I turned on the TV, and just like you, well, I heard this.
We just want the boys to have at it. We want them to have fun. We want them to be aggressive. We want them to put on a good show for the fans.
This volcano was just waiting to erupt. And 2 weeks later, we're still dodging lava. It's pretty simple. Carl doesn't like Brad.
Well, Brad knows the deal between him and I.
And Brad doesn't like Carl very much.
It's not cool to intentionally wreck somebody at 195 mile an hour.
In fact, Mr. Keselowski has made quite a name for himself. Just ask Denny Hamlin.
He has no idea how to race. My objective today was try to win the race first and take care of him second.
That's all right. I don't really have a problem with that. Drivers don't have to like each other.
If he's gonna, you know, take a cheap shot, he's gonna give one back. I promise you that.
It's always somebody else's fault.
I give him the whole bottom lane. You know.
You throw a rock, I'm gonna throw a concrete block back.
Bristol's an idiot.
Nobody runs into me. He just wrecked me. You don't know what he's doing.
That's the way it goes, I guess.
Remember old Cale and Donnie? Now there was some beating and banging. These old boys are getting it on right here. I like this. Bring it on! Then there was Dale and Rudd, Dale and Labonte, and heck, Dale and everybody. And don't forget about the old wiry veteran Jimmy Spencer and the up-and-coming Kurt Busch.
I mean, I guess he's a never was is really the term that we need to bring up today. There's a lot of things you can and can't do, and one thing you can't do is just beat and bang with people.
I know exactly how they feel, because I hated to get spun out. I've seen guys' tempers get the best of them.
Get down in the pits there.
I think Michael was trying to help him out of the car. It just gets you so mad, you just want to... What kind of hand signal that was. Your mindset on this track is, you hit me, I'll hit you back. Just a little retaliation. Things get tossed. Heck, guys even run over the top of cars. People are hooping and hollering. In my opinion, well, that's a good day's racing right there. Don't get me wrong. I love to see drivers have emotion. I like that. That's what our sport's all about. No harm? Well, no foul in my book. Listen, we can't have retaliation overshadow good racing. Quick, who won the Atlanta race?
I mean, our sport, it's based off personalities and some of the emotion that you see, instead of sometimes writing about who won the race or what happened.
You see what I mean? Retaliation is a big part of our sport, but you can't let it overshadow good racing.
All right. Well, when did your temper ever get the best of you?
Oh yeah. Listen,
tell the truth.
I had more run-ins with Earnhardt than probably anybody. Rusty Wallace, Cale Yarborough, you name it. I've had my share of feuds. But you know what? I don't mind a little trade and paint. That's what this sport's all about. It's exciting and fun to watch. What I don't like is when you start throwing those cheap shots. That's what I don't like.
Cheap shot? They knew it was coming.
Well, there's some guys that are good at that.
What's the best NASCAR feud of all time, would you say?
Oh, man, I'm like him. I think him and Earnhardt were pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, also you got Petty and Pearson.
Petty and Pearson?
Petty Pearson.
They finished first and second 62 times to each other.
That's a rivalry.
That was a long-running rival there.
Now, Kevin Harvick, now, if you talk about guys, he already had a comment this week, reportedly, where he called Carl Edwards a fake, and he wasn't even involved in the Keselowski. Carl Edwards said, Carl shot back and said, he's not a nice guy, he's a bad guy. Stirring it up.
Yeah, Harvick's an instigator. He might be a little bit like Kyle Busch. There's a bunch of these guys that they can't stand somebody to have a controversy and them not be involved in it.
Common denominators, right?
That's right.
So what's a feud other than Carl and Brad, if they behave today?
Oh, how about the one that started yesterday? It's got to go between Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick. I mean, Kevin dumped him on the last lap. I mean, he deliberately went there and just turned him around to get a position.
And this is it in the Nationwide Series. Where's the line? What should he...
Well, it sure isn't here, Chris, I can tell you that.
He should not do that. Okay.
No, I mean, last lap coming to the checker, he just turned around. And you see Joey was wanting to maybe think about doing something and said, calm down, calm down. Well, I'd have turned him loose.
No, that's what I saw, though. He went the wrong way. Logano did. He should have been going to Kevin Harvick's car no matter what.
All right, and we're gonna hear from Joey Logano, and in fact, Darrell has some advice for Joey Logano on how to handle situations. He's on the pole, so he's excited about winning the race and surviving out here in Bristol. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. We're counting you down to the start of the race here in Bristol, Tennessee. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing presented by GoDaddy.com. And this whole track, they do things in a new way. Casey Kane, Denny Hamlin, the drivers get to select the kind of music they want played, a song, as they are introduced with the fans. There's Grand Marshal Stone Cold Steve Austin, Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting a round of applause. Meanwhile, Mark Martin had a unique way of having fans help him choose which song he wanted for his introduction here in Bristol.
I couldn't make up my mind on the intro song, so we did this really cool deal with GoDaddy.com and was going to let the fans vote on it. I gave them 3 options. I couldn't make up my mind between Lenny Kravitz, AC/DC, and Eazy-E. I like Eazy-E because I'm a really big rap fan and I kind of like the gangster rap. And I don't know who won, so I can't wait to hear what they play.
Number 5, the other Mark Martin. Old guys rule. Go, Daddy.
He went with AC/DC, little Marky Mark, and how about Mark Martin admitting that he likes rap? You're okay with that? All right, what would your song be? What's that?
Want to talk about me?
Toby Keith, of course. How about you? Jeff would have the theme from Psycho, maybe. No, that's not very nice.
With you, I need that. No, Garth Brooks and Rodeo.
Rodeo? Yes, right, you're Rodeo. I would take Life's Been Good to Me, the Joe Walsh song. I don't know. He's just looking at okay. I like the idea, though. I think it's a great thing. And the fans,
every week.
The fans enjoy it. The furthest back a winner has started here in Bristol, and one was 38th. Elliott Sadler in 2001. Kyle Busch, he's hot coming in, but qualified today's race 38th quickest. He's not worried, though, just ready to push and shove his way to the front.
Kyle Busch is a runaway train.
Beware of Kyle Busch. He's been on a tear here lately, folks.
Here comes Rowdy.
You've got to watch out for this guy because he's good.
Wild thing, Kyle Busch dominates in Bristol.
Because this is his house, and we know that.
In those 3 Bristol wins, Kyle Busch's worst start was 20th. A big challenge for you today, starting 38th. What's your biggest concern that deep in the field?
Well, I think the biggest thing's got to be just getting through traffic. For one, we don't want to go a lap down early. That's something that we can't justify later. Having as many cautions that come out here, you might be able to get back on the lead lap, but you don't want to take that chance. So hopefully we have the car to do that today. Dave's been working really hard all weekend. We unloaded with the same stuff we've always ran here, just the tires really thrown us for a loop. So I feel like we'll be okay, and we should be able to work our way up through there smooth and clean and methodically, hopefully, and then be there at the end.
He dominated the short track season in 2009, winning 3 races.
And the first short track race of the season, tough to pass here, but calm and cool sometimes doesn't work for every driver.
He made an interesting comment on our trackside show the other night. He said the cars are driving better than they ever have, but they don't have any speed. Duh. If you don't go fast, you know, they're going to drive better.
And he also said he's usually the guy in the middle of things, instigating or stirring, but he hasn't been, and yet the results aren't there yet. But you think they will be?
What we were